Well, folks, it's Bruce here from the Coasters Club, and I'm in Nelson on a beautiful sunny day, which, I don't know, it just seems to always be like it up here. And I'm tracking down some of the students from the Hokitika District High School. Was it high school?
Yes.
And one of the names that came up was Shona Davidson. Now, I hadn't heard of Shona Davidson, but anyway, I've worked out that Shona Davidson is now Shona McLean. And Shona, thanks so much for taking the time to talk to me. I really appreciate it.
Oh, my pleasure, Bruce.
And what will happen with this interview is that I'll send you a copy of it.
Sure.
On a memory stick.
Yep.
It'll go to our local museum on a memory stick. It'll be available on our Coasters Club YouTube channel.
Yes.
In the whole thing, and then the rest of it will be played on Facebook over a period of time.
Oh, right.
So
that sounds good.
you will be you're a familiar face anyway. But so what's your full name?
Shona Mary Davidson, now McLean.
And where were you born?
In Hokitika. Yeah.
And where was the maternity ward then?
It was in Hamden Street.
Amazing.
Yep.
So who were your mum and dad?
Elsie and Hector Davidson.
Oh, of G&D Davidson fame.
Yes, that's right. Yes, my great grandfather came to Hokitika in 1868 and set up the foundry there with his brother Duncan.
And that was in Beeley Street.
In Beeley Street, yes. Yeah.
I did a story recently on a Davidson locomotive.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Ah, well, there's one just out of Naihiri.
Yes, there is.
It's a Davidson locomotive.
Amazing, isn't it?
Yes, yes.
So when you first came home, where was your first home?
Davey Street for me, yes. My brothers and sisters all lived in Beeley Street when they were born, but for me it was Davey Street.
So can you remember as a child, now, you know, the kids these days, they've got iPads and they've got this and they've got that. What did your family do for fun as kids?
Oh gosh, well we all played out in the street, which in those days was a dirt street, it wasn't asphalted.
Right.
So we played marbles out in the street, we drew a big circle and a little dip in the middle to scump the marbles into.
Yeah.
We played up in the bush, which is all houses now. There was a sleigh track up there, so we used to build these sleighs and have fun up there. Swimming bars, we spent a lot of time in the swimming bars when we were kids.
It's quite different, wasn't it?
Oh, totally different from what kids are today. Because it was safe, and you know, as long as we were home for dinner at night, and then when we go out to play after dinner with the other kids in the street, and as long as you were home by dark, everything was happy.
We must have all had the same rules.
I think so. Yeah, I always say we were the lucky generation, Bruce.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think you're right.
Yeah.
Did you ever meet your grandparents?
Just my one grandfather, yes, and he lived the last 4 years of his life with us, but I didn't know my other grandparents. My older siblings did, because I've got older brothers and sisters. They knew them, but yeah.
Now, whereabouts did you attend primary school?
Hokitika.
And which primary school was it? The Hokie Primary?
Yep, yep.
Now,
the one not the one that's there today. The one that was down. It was adjacent to where the high school is now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Look,
there was a primary school there.
Now, how does a Davidson go to a state school? Now, what's the story there?
Well, when my great-grandfather came to Hokitika with his brother, they were both Protestants. My great-grandfather was George, and he remained a Protestant, but Duncan married a Catholic girl.
Right.
So that became that great branch of the Davidson Catholic family. So I have many cousins on that side, third cousins, and grew up not really knowing them, because in those days the Protestants, Catholics didn't mix like it is today when we're very welcome in each other's churches. It wasn't like that back in the 40s and 50s. But I got to know a lot of my cousins about 10, 12 years ago really well when the Davidsons in Hokitika put on a family reunion. And it was just amazing the way we just all reconnected, as cousins often do. It was great. And we had a great day up at the Kamara races.
And they're good people as well.
Oh, yeah. Very good people.
So yeah. you'd have bumped into. Was Tanker a cousin of yours?
Yes, he is.
And Alan and Brucey and.
Yeah. And
I could go on for.
Oh goodness me!
Yeah,
the one who had the baker's shop.
Yeah, Dicey.
Yeah,
Dicey.
Who looks so like my brother Alan.
Wow.
Yeah, very much like my
Jack
brother
Davidson.
Alan. Yeah. Yeah, all related.
Well,
Yeah,
I guess when you come to Hokitika, you wouldn't be able to sneak in and get out without anyone knowing you were there. So, where did you attend high school?
it was Hokitika District High, and in my last year it changed to Westland High School.
Okay, and what year was your last year? Can you recall?
Yeah, 1964.
64. Did you have a favourite subject at school? What's the one that you actually...
Oh, probably English was my favourite subject because I've always loved reading, and English.
Well, that's great because you're the first one I've interviewed in recent times that English was the favourite.
Right.
There's been all sorts of others.
Right. Yes, I hated maths.
Did you have a teacher that you can recall that
I had a primary teacher, George Brent, who I remember. I really liked him as a teacher. He probably was my favourite teacher. And Tom Gilbert. I had Tom Gilbert in Standard 6, and he was a great teacher, Tom.
Well, the mere fact that you can recall him, I guess, is gives you gives you a bit of an idea. Did you play sports?
Not really. I played netball, but wasn't really very good at the sport. But didn't really enjoy sports day that much. But I did play netball for a few years. Yeah.
So if there was a close friend of yours back then,
yes.
say 1964, how would she have described you as a person? What would they have said?
Oh, Bruce, I have no idea what. You've got me there a wee bit.
Quiet, reserved.
No, reasonably outgoing and friendly.
Yep.
Always enjoyed meeting people, and that's probably about it.
That's a Davidson thing. That's definitely.
Yeah, my mum always loved keeping in touch with people, and I think I've probably inherited that. I do keep in touch with school friends still. Only once a year, perhaps at Christmas with a Christmas card, but those Hokitika days. And even though I live in Nelson, I've lived here over 50 years. When I go down the coast, it's like going home. When I come back to Nelson, it's like coming home as well.
I love it.
Yeah.
So I guess you left high school, and I guess you had to go to work.
Yeah, I was 16 and I went to work up in the office at Seaview Hospital and worked there along with Martin Cummings and Christine Agnew and Anne Nelson's another name I recall, Donnie Wells, and Peter Tonetti was our boss. He was a great boss, Peter. He sadly passed, but good days. I was there for about 18 months.
What about, can you recall any of the nurses?
Francie Gugish is one that comes readily to mind because the Gugishes were neighbours of ours.
What about, was Duncan,
Barry Veal?
Was Duncan Davidson up there then?
Yeah, Duncan. He's a cousin, of course.
Yes, yeah.
And Barry Veal.
Barry
Veal. John Gillespie.
Right.
Yeah, so I do remember some of the nurses. Faye Roberts, a good friend of mine who nursed at Seaview as well, and was a lifelong friend.
So when you left Seaview, what did you do from there?
I transferred up to Nelson, to Nawatu, and that sort of came about. I'd been up to Nelson for a holiday as a 17-year-old, and as I was telling you before, Bruce, I sort of discovered Hokitika wasn't the centre of the universe after all.
How can you say that on film?
Sorry. And had this wonderful holiday up there and decided to put in for a transfer up to Nawatu.
And what was Nawatu?
A psychiatric hospital.
Right.
Yeah, it had over 700 patients when I started there. It was a big psychiatric hospital. Yes.
And did you stay there long?
Yeah, 32 years.
Oh, that's a fair while.
Just quite a while, isn't it?
And is that
I was in the admin there, in the office. Yeah.
And is that where you met the boss?
Yeah, that's where I met the boss. Yeah, and Barry was well in when I met Barry, and I took him down to Hokitika to meet my parents.
Yes.
And my father played bagpipes, and Barry played bagpipes.
Oh,
my mother was a registered nurse, and Barry was a registered nurse. So
he's part of the family.
He was quidzin.
Oh, he just.
In fact, I think he was more popular than I was when I went home.
So, how old were you when you first started dating Barry? Can you recall?
About 18 and a half. Yeah, because I was 18 when I came to Nelson. No, probably nearer 19. And 18 and a half, and then I was married.
So he didn't muck around. He swooped in pretty quick, didn't he?
He did.
Do you remember your first date?
Yes. I don't know if I should say this on camera, Bruce.
Well, remember that probably 175,000 people will watch this.
He took me to the Provincial Hotel in Nelson. And it was after hours and I was underage. And my mother would have been horrified. So I do well remember our first date.
And those would have been, let's see, in those days, 6 o'clock closing.
Oh, definitely. Yes.
And what was the age limit? 21 then, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was 21.
You were slightly
yeah,
under.
He was leading me astray.
Exactly,
yes.
right from a very age.
But it was great fun. They used to have sing or shout in the bar and we had a lot of fun.
So, how long did you know Barry before you decided that he was yours?
Oh, it was about 10 months and then we got engaged and then we were married about 10 months later.
Yeah, well,
20, I was 20, he was 24. Yeah.
An older man.
Yeah.
And when did you get married?
When 13th of April 1968, which is the week the Wahine sunk in Wellington Harbour, and was fine in Hokitika though
That day?
Yes, and yeah, it wasn't. I think the Wahine sunk on the 10th. We were married on the 13th.
Oh dear.
Yeah.
And you got married at St Andrews?
St Andrews, yes. Yeah, Owen Jenkin married us. He was the minister in Hokitika at that time.
Can you remember who was in your wedding party?
Oh yes, definitely. Yes, yeah. Hokitika, 2 Hokitika girls. Myself,
yes, of course.
Christine Agnew, Faye Roberts. These are their maiden names.
Yes.
And also someone who lived in the nurses' home with me at Ngawatu, Erin Byrne. She was from Waimangaroa.
Oh, the
Yeah,
Westport
so
girl.
she was a Byrne.
Okay.
I don't know if you know any Byrnes from
I
there.
do
Yeah,
indeed.
Yeah, and Barry, his best man, worked at Ngawatu. He was a Welshman who charmed everybody with his beautiful accent, and his brother-in-law and his cousin.
The Barry would have
Because Barry's from Motueka.
been a good-looking man up the front there, wouldn't he?
Too right.
He would have been. Yeah. So, Shona, how's the world different today
Oh,
than from when you were a child?
yeah, totally different, Bruce. Like when I see it with our grandchildren, yeah, like they don't have the same sort of friendships, relationships as what we had. They contact their friends via their iPads, and the technological age has changed things so much.
And you'd have friends that you had when you were 16 or 17 that you probably still have.
Yes, I do.
Does that happen now?
No, I don't think it does happen to the same degree as what it.
It's a wee bit more transient, isn't it?
It is, yes.
In many ways.
Yeah. Well, I think for a start, young people wouldn't send a Christmas card these days, would they?
No, very true.
Mind you, I suppose they could. They would email.
We just make a Facebook page.
Yeah,
post,
true, exactly. Yeah, well, that is a great way that they do keep in touch with each other.
Yeah.
But often it's not face-to-face.
No,
whereas I think we make the effort more, probably face-to-face, go out for coffee and that sort of thing.
It's more personal driven, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Now, in your life, was there someone that came along that made a difference to the way you thought or the direction you went? Someone who said something or did something that changed how you thought?
I think we were very lucky when I was growing up. My father's sister, Auntie Jess Michelle, she was, quite a focal point in our lives.
Right.
So probably Auntie Jess, she was a very wise woman, and I think she gave us good guidance, as well as our mum and dad did. We grew up a very loving family.
Yeah.
Yeah, had wonderful mum and dad.
Was there anything that you ever wanted to do that you didn't do? Did you ever want to be a policeman or a...
No.
or
At one stage I thought I wanted to be a librarian.
right.
Yeah. But no, I was very happy in my job that I worked in admin. I had a lot of contact with people. I also had contact with patients as well in the hospital environment. And I was very happy in the job.
If there was a single moment in your life so far, and you've got plenty more to go, but
I hope so.
Well, you look like you have. So, what would it? If there was one single moment where you went, "Gee, that was good," what would that be?
Well, probably we had a wonderful trip to America, Barry and I think we had several moments where we thought, "Oh, that was good." We went to we were there for 5 weeks and travelled
Oh, wow.
quite extensively there. And
So where did you go in America?
we went to San Francisco, and then we flew over to the other coast and went to Philadelphia, where we stayed with some friends who were wonderful, showing us around. And my highlight of the trip was going down over the Brooklyn Bridge and seeing where Neil Diamond was brought up.
Oh no!
That was
Oh
wonderful,
no!
because I'm a huge Neil Diamond fan.
Yes.
And then we went down to Washington and had some time there, and then over to Las Vegas, time there, and then up to Los Angeles, more time
wow.
there. So, yeah,
And so
no,
did
it was
you
wonderful.
did you just rent a car or
No, we flew everywhere and just did tour buses,
Yep.
things like that, and yeah, it was great.
sounds fantastic.
Yeah, it was.
So, if you said now, what's the best age for someone? What would your best age be? You know, it's for me. It's not today. It's we've all got a different age where it's where we go. Yeah, that's a good age to be.
Right. Yeah, probably when the children left home and it was just Barry and I. We loved our years with our children, don't get me wrong, but I think when the children left home and we had more time for each other and we've been able to do a bit of travel and just enjoy each other's company, enjoy having friends around for dinner, playing 500.
Yep.
Yeah,
I've got to play 500s.
yeah,
So how many children do you have?
just the two.
And
Yeah,
what,
but we
what
have a couple that adopted. Our very best friends are sadly no longer with us, so
Yes.
we've sort of like surrogate parents to
Yes.
them, which is wonderful.
oh, brilliant.
Yeah, so yeah, and we've got grandchildren, of course, which we
So
cherish.
So going back to one of the things that I've been trying to convince young ones at our schools is about how many fantastic people came out of the small schools on the coast.
Oh yeah, I look at my brother Alan, who's left Hokitika District High without. He had school cert, and then he decided he wanted to go into the ministry, and he sat UE by correspondence, and he got his degree with honours, and then he went overseas and he did a PhD,
Oh, wow.
and he's now got a New Zealand Order of Merit for his services to New Zealand history. We're very proud of Alan and what he's achieved, and
Isn't it quite stunning the number
Yes, yeah.
of people like Alan that have come out?
just really achieved well. And same with my brother Ian, he's been the same. He spent a lot of time over in Papua New Guinea doing Bible translation, and then came back to the coast and was the minister at Reefton Hospital, Reefton Uniting Church,
Yes.
for a number of years.
Yeah.
Lucky to have him live in Nelson now with his wife Karen, who's a Wilson from Hokariri,
Oh God!
related to the Hokitika Wilsons.
Well, all the Wilsons are related.
Yes, that's right. They're a big, lovely family.
And is there anything else that I can add into this interview before I shut down? Is there anything else you'd like to talk about or mention or?
I think I've covered most things, but I mustn't forget my sister Heather in Christchurch.
Is she still in good health?
Yes, she is. Very good. She's just turned 80. I'm the youngest in the family. Sadly we lost two sisters, one with meningitis and one with a hospital misadventure. But
Yep.
they've always been in our lives. Margaret and Jean, always remembered.
Gosh, 80's a good age too.
Yes, very good age. Well, my dad, Hector, lived to 93. And Mum was 90. Well, she was 4 days off her 90th birthday.
Barry, it's looking like there's a few more years here. She's got a bit more in her yet.
Oh, and the Coasters Club. Must mention the Coasters Club because I, enjoy helping Murray Wiblets organise the Do for Ex-West Coasters
Yes.
in Nelson every year. And we usually get about 150. This year we got 170. We had Dame Julie Christie speak to us.
What was Julie like?
Oh, wonderful speaker. Yes, everyone was, just hung on every word.
Isn't she dynamic?
She was
There's something powerful
yeah,
about her.
she was very good. Yes,
And
yeah.
she's the mayor's appointed her to
Yes.
Development West Coast.
Well, she was on her way to a Development West Coast meeting.
Right.
So she dropped by into Nelson, flew into Nelson on the Sunday, and then drove down for that meeting. But we've had some wonderful speakers. We've had all the mayors from Hokitika.
Yep.
So your turn must be coming up soon, Bruce.
Oh, well, always there.
And
you had Pauline Cox one year.
Pauline Cox came up. We had Rion Murtha, who was the racing commentator.
Right.
We had the Cockatoo Band come up one year. We've been very lucky with the speakers we've had. Last year we had Richard Waugh, who...
The historian.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, and he spoke very well.
He knows stuff, doesn't he, when it comes to
he's an
aircraft.
Speaker.
Yeah.
Excellent speaker.
He's a really nice fella.
Yeah, so he spoke about the history of aviation on the West Coast, as well as personal stories, because he grew up there in the 60s as well. So, yeah.
Well, that's fantastic. Well, look, Coasters, this is Shona McLean. She's the driving force, in my opinion, behind the Coasters Club in Nelson, which has been going for a long time. And you imagine putting on a dinner and getting 170 people coming to it. That's about 20 times more than we'd be able to get down Hoagie.
An afternoon tea, Bruce.
And I'm sorry, an afternoon tea. And so this video here and this interview will be available on the Coasters Club channel on YouTube. And all you've got to do is type in Shona McLean, a coaster, and it will come up. In fact, if you just type Shona McLean in, it'll come up. And it will also be seen in 3 separate segments on the Coasters Club. So you'll see them. They'll come across as 3 separate interviews. So Shona, thank you so much for speaking to us.
Oh, my pleasure, Bruce.
And we'd love to have more of your members to be interviewed.
Right, yes.
I'd really love the chance.
Yeah, well, Murray Wiblets would be a good person to talk to too. Yeah.
All right, then we'll catch you later.
Okay, thanks, Bruce.